So I feel like I have to say this for the AI because sometimes the AI doesn't understand, that I'm female, um, or that I'm a black woman when it's given a description or summarizing. So yeah, I am a black woman or whatever, and I do think it's interesting to see the firestorm on Twitter regarding H1B. Even though I don't understand why they don't just call it like work visas or something akin to a work visa. They got these hitting, you know, acronyms or whatever. I don't know. And for the most part, for the black people who can work, particularly, corporate, big tech, whatever, like, I mean, well, historically, a lot of black people who qualify, they either get paid less than their white counterparts, or they are often overlooked a lot of times, um, for other types of non-black workers. You know what I'm saying? And they could be equally skilled or even less skilled. That's one reason I don't think like this is a FBA problem in that context, when you look at it in that context. Um, and another reason why is because, well, as long as it's FBAs being overlooked and ignored or underpaid or whatever, you know, nobody really cares. It's a lot of people like that, unfortunately. Um, a problem isn't a problem unless and until it affects them and their demographic. So also too, like, it's ironic to see certain people on the left try to spin this and pivot back to black people, like, oh, we got to get rid of affirmative action. The irony is, well, a lot of brown people and even yellow people and Caucasian women benefit from affirmative action, uh, DEI, if I'm not mistaken. They benefited a lot. I think white women benefited the most. So it's interesting to see certain individuals try to pivot back to that. Uh, as far as people being disrespectful and hateful, it's messed up. Um, but it's okay to, once again, like, it's okay to it's like FBAs have to fight tooth and nail when people are, coming at them and attacking FBAs. Um, a lot of times it's not even deemed as hateful on certain platforms. X is the main one. X Twitter is the main platform where people can just say whatever they want about or to black people. You know what I'm saying? But it's certain protected groups, and you know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll end you. They'll come after you big time. So I'm personally not even going to bring it up, but I don't think it takes rocket science to figure out what those protective groups are, or untouchables, like, Um. Anyways, that's not why I'm doing this video in the first place. That's not the focal point of it. Like, people just don't want to be treated the way other groups of people often get treated, who are considered as less than. I think one of the biggest fears that a lot of people in the dominant society in America, a dominant white society, I think one of the biggest fears that they probably have is that, A, too many migrants will be a problem for them in the workforce. B, it could undermine their political power. But ultimately, that If it's large enough numbers, well, then they could start, you know, ordering them or bossing them around, similar to how they treat, uh, well, similar to how black people have been treated historically. Like nobody wants to be treated that way. Honestly, though, it's less of a race thing and less of a they're more skilled and more of a companies and corporations want to save money. They want to save money. They want to be able to treat people any kind of way and have people that's going to be there almost 24/7 with no personal life. And see, a lot of Americans, we fought for workers' rights. Americans fought for for vacation and unions at jobs and fought for to get 2 days off a 40-hour work week. So why shouldn't Americans want to hold on to stuff that American ancestors fought blood, sweat, and tears for? On top of being shamed for wanting to be treated like a human being and wanting a little bit of wanting some life outside of work. They gotta be told that they're asking for too much because they want to get paid a living wage. They want work benefits and they want a living wage. They want to be able to be around their family for the holidays or whatever. So they want to work, but they also want to live. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor. What's wrong with that? I don't know what that is crawling across the floor, but I got an idea. I've been putting baking soda all over the place. So you gotta be careful who you let come in your house because people just bring all types of things in your house, and then it's like it'd be hard to get rid of. Anyways, what was I saying? Like, yeah, Americans don't want to be treated like serfs or slaves, slaving for a company and not having a life. Also, getting paid pennies on a dollar, and people making it seem like Americans are asking for too much. Truthfully, the cost of living just keep going up. That's the bigger issue. It's not really keeping up with what the average person who is working, who's able to work, is earning. Even if even if they working in corporate America, even if they're working like the average person is just like, you know what I'm saying, like, because of the cost of living just keep going up and up and up. And I gave a little context about why a lot of folks on the right, you know what I'm saying, of the dominant society is angry. I gave a little bit of context. Like, nobody was trying to say that that they might get treated exactly the way we've been treated, especially during Jim Crow. Uh, they are, however, saying that they are displeased, angry, or dissatisfied and uncomfortable with this idea that they're not good enough to work for these companies as Americans, and basically they being outsourced. They're being replaced in the workforce. And then people want to leave funny comments and da 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 da. And I got this. I got money. I'm free. I'm free. You know what's interesting about that? I'm free. I'm free. I'm free part. I was listening to an individual speak about freedom and how ain't really levels to freedom. You either got freedom or you don't really have it. I don't know if I could. I could. I don't know how. I don't know. That's a tough cookie because okay, well you got some wealthy people, you got some rich people who can't speak on certain sensitive subject matters because their overlords. It might anger their overlords, but they free to get on a yacht and go turn up and party, and they free to go to certain communities and travel the world and create a family and continue to work at their business, whatever their business may be. Or they free to go to college if they want to go to college or study or whatever. But like they free to do the most things, right? But it's certain things that they don't have the freedom to speak on. Are they really free? Also, the irony of that is look at what they're doing right now. These globalists. Look at all the rules and regulations they're ushering in. Look what happened a few years ago uh, during the pandemic. 3 feet apart. You have to wear a face mask. I gotta be careful the way I explain this. Oh, and for a lot of people, well, we're not forcing you to get the juice, but if you want to keep your job, you know what I'm saying, that you depend on to pay your bills and buy food, well, in order for you to keep this job, you gotta take this jab. But we not forcing you though. Like that whole free comment was really interesting. Also, I think about people who passed away suddenly. And a lot of these people were healthy. A lot of them were athletes. I think about people mocking me and the irony of them, mocking me or whatever. And then I think about 2030. Everything I just explained in the 2030 agenda. So I would caution mocking me. Oh, I'm free to, do my business and da, da, da. Oh, that's nice. That's all fine and dandy. Just wait till them carbon credits really kick in. Just wait till you go to the supermarket and there's nobody or any other store and there's no human beings in the store. You got camera drones in each aisle and you got carbon credits and you only allowed to buy a certain amount of things each month. Let's just say if you're a meat eater, you can only get a certain amount of red meat each month or every other month. But if you max out your limit, well, you might be eating Soylent Green for a whole month or however long, indefinitely, until the powers that be tell you it's okay for you to go back to eating hamburgers and hot dogs and steaks. I was looking at a Whole Foods. I'm not sure if it was in Arizona, a little while ago, and it's before you can even walk in, like it wants you to scan. You have to have I think you have to have a chip in your hand. It's cashless. And I'm also hearing talks about how it might be soon another round of jabs, and you can't tell them no. You can't say no. The folks that's back in power this time, remember, they supported the jabs the first time around. It's like wash, rinse, repeat. Ever since the last round of the pandemic, so many people have been having some, bad reactions. They DIED suddenly. So I would caution mocking me or talking about how much freedom I don't have and da, 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 da. When a lot of y'all don't even have the freedom to, or y'all didn't feel like you had the right to walk into a business without being forced to wear a mask, without being forced to stand 3 or 6 feet apart, or you couldn't keep your business, or you couldn't continue to go to a certain business as an employee if you didn't get the juice. Again, like, I guess they don't care about a lot of y'all either. With me, it's a specific reason. It's a very specific reason. But clearly they don't care about a lot of y'all either. I think people forget the magical number is 500 million. That's the magical number. I don't think most of the people who take time out their day to give me all this attention and energy that I didn't ask for, to try to troll or mock me, I don't think the majority of them is going to be part of that 500 million. I'm sorry. But that's the magical number that has been floating around. If you know, you know. I'm getting into some esoteric stuff. I understand that a lot of these globalists don't like y'all either. So I would be cautious to mock me. And that kind of reminds me of people losing their blue checks and stuff like that on Twitter. And I'm thinking to myself, well, at least they don't have to worry about nobody terrorizing them and their whole community. They don't have to worry about, at least they still got the privilege of being protected for the most part. For the most part. You still, because for the most part, the majority of those individuals who may have had their blue checks taken away on X Twitter or Twitter X, because somebody thought that maybe they were saying something that was like, too out there, too offensive, right? At least you get to live. I'm pretty sure you get to go and be around your family and friends for now with no problem. I don't know what's going to happen come 2030, 2035, but for now, people got to ask themselves, are you really free? Or do you just have temporary temporary privileges, excuse me, and maybe you have a little bit more privileges than other people. But are you really free, though? I was looking at certain comments that was critical of the H1-B1, and not all of them were offensive towards, brown people. Not all of them were offensive. But for certain people who had a whole lot of followers, some of them still lost their blue check marks. Like, are you really free? Or do certain people have a little bit more privileges than others? I don't really think none of us ordinary folks are free. And to a certain extent, even certain wealthy people are not free. Believe it or not, a lot of them and even politicians, they're being blackmailed. They're being controlled. They have shadow men. They're being controlled. Somebody's keeping them in check and keeping them in line. They got rules that they got to abide by, that they have to play by, as far as how they use their influence for the masses. I wouldn't be so quick to joke about, oh, I got freedom, I got my money, and da. I don't know about that. I don't know how long I got to live, but come back to me in 2030, 2035. When you go in the store, there ain't no human beings in the store. And the only way you can buy or sell anything, you got to either have that thing underneath your skin or in your brain, a brain chip. Come back to me when you're not allowed to have a gasoline powered car or a mobile device. Come back to me when you can't move no more than 15 minutes from where you live, where you reside. And it's camera drones everywhere watching your every move. And now you got all these carbon credits. Somebody is dictating what you can and can't eat for the month. People are